Well, Pete DeBoer raised a lot of eyebrows when the news got out that he was expecting to start Robin Lehner in Game 4, which they viewed as certainly a must-win game for Vegas. Turns out his guy was ready, and he had a great game. Ended up getting the win in overtime as the Golden Knights stormed back to beat the Habs and tie the series at 2. But after what we saw in Game 1, as you look at that, that was a gutsy move by Pete DeBoer to go with Robin Lehner. And I guess now the question is, who do they go with for Game 5? Like now, going forward, every night we're going to be asking, who is your starter? What do you think, Rupper?
Which, again, is a good problem to have.
True.
We always mention those things. But you know how many teams would be like, oh, wait, you can't decide which great goalie to go with?
Yeah.
So I think that that's one thing. It's very hard for me to, I think, flat out, Marc-Andre Fleury right now is the better goalie. I think we've seen that this year. That's why he's a Vezina finalist. But let's not underestimate what Robin Lehner did in that game and how he's been a very true pro and staying ready. For me, I think Marc-Andre Fleury should go back in. But also, if this is used to be a true rest, the idea is to get Marc-Andre Fleury sharp like once again, then maybe give him another game, Robin Lehner. He earned it. He deserves it. But at the same rate, I mean, you understand what I'm saying? But yeah. The only thing that I think, and I don't know, I'm trying not to let, like, personal things get in the way as far as Marc-Andre Fleury. He's a former teammate, great guy. Everybody knows this. This is his team. This is his playoff run. He's a Vezina finalist. He's a Conn Smythe guy right now. You can argue that.
Led the Cup final 3 years ago.
Yeah, so my thing is, Robin Lehner he did really well in that game. If he gets another game, fine. But at some point, you got to go back to Marc-Andre Fleury. My thing is, I just don't know if they're going to do that. Yeah. Like, I don't know because we know what happened last year. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We don't want to make this all about whatever. This is a good problem to have. You're asking me who I'd start. I'd probably go with Fleury, but I understand with what Robin Lehner did in that game, how can you say that that's a bad decision? But I would like to get it back to 29 at some point.
He probably will win the Vezina Trophy. And if they won the Stanley Cup at this moment, outside the last game, probably would win the Conn Smythe if Vegas was the Stanley Cup champions. That's how important he has been. And you look back at the history and what's happened with Marc-Andre Fleury. He was the face of the franchise right out of the gate and took him to the Stanley Cup finals in year number 1. And the adversity that he's had to go through in his career, if you look back. So in year number 2, they bring in Robin Lehner. Yeah. And Lehner becomes the starter for the playoffs, and Fleury gets pushed to the back burner after all the promotional stuff, everything that you did for that franchise, and the stellar goaltending. All of a sudden, in year 3, you have the best year of your career. And you put this team in Vegas, thinks and believes they are a legitimate Stanley Cup finalist, and he gets there and on the road, and all of a sudden you are going good. He's 36 years old and starting to age, has a couple maybe bad games, slips a little bit, and you go to Robin Lehner in the bullpen, give him some rest. That's okay. Lehner played great in that one game. Yeah. I'm with you. You have to go back to Fleury at some point because he deserves that net. Yeah. I believe the players in that dressing room would play for Marc-Andre Fleury in every save that he's made for him throughout the season, but we've seen it in the past where Fleury got pulled in the middle of a playoff series and Matt Murray took over and led the Pittsburgh Penguins to a Stanley Cup championships. Marc-Andre Fleury in the net has been in some of the most wild controversies that I have ever seen.
Back to World Juniors.
Yeah, even back to Wild Juniors. So after the performance, it was gutsy. I said last night that I would stick with Marc-Andre Fleury. He deserves to be in the net, but Robin Lehner put on a show, and it's hard to deny that, but can he back it up? And can he do it consistently? Marc-Andre Fleury has shown this year he can do it consistently. If this is a rest, a one-game blow or a two-game blow just to relax and get your legs back underneath you, okay, I understand it. To me, he belongs back in the net for the Vegas Golden Knights.
This is the thing that I think the big question for Pete DeBoer. And honestly, both these two guys are such pros that they will handle it the right way. We know this. We've seen this already. But theoretically, this isn't to say that it's inevitable that they're going to beat Montreal. But you should really beat Montreal with either of these goalies. The bigger thing to me is don't lose one of these guys for potentially next round. Right. You know, and that's... You
mean mentally lose them or engaged in...
If you're going to go Robin Lehner now, you may be throwing a wrench into this progression that Marc-Andre Fleury's gotten his game to.
For
Vezina
sure.
finalist, Conn Smythe runner here.
I think DeBoer's going to go Lehner. That's just my guess.
I think
because I think he's going to say we won Game 4. We're going to go with him again in Game 5. He was great, and until he loses, they're going to keep going with him, which again poses a problem for every game going forward.
It's just tough. I don't envy him. I don't envy Pete DeBoer in this situation because you know you can really overthink it and you can overplay it. At the end of the day, he's got two great guys. Marc-Andre Fleury's been great.
Yeah.
This last start of Robin Lehner was great. So you just got to do it. Do your best. You're putting yourself out there. That's how we started this whole thing when you mentioned. He did put himself out there, and it came through for the one game, but it's not going to end now.